Listen, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I scammed you all. I really truly feel sometimes that I've absolutely scammed you. A while back I paired up with a company called Wizio, sort of like Cameo, where you could send me requests, you could send me transition questions, you could request a 10-minute phone call with me, and I kept up with it for a while, but I stopped like years ago, and it only charges you when like I actually fulfill the question. And there are so many in the queue that have not been answered, and obviously I'm not gonna like go back and do them from like 2021 and like charge someone from like an old question. So I figured other people can benefit from it, if not the person that asked themselves. There are some from, I think, even this year in this video. I'm not doing these requests anymore as of now. Who knows in the future, but as of this video, unless I say again, like I'm not doing any more Wizio. So in this video, I am going to go through my Wizio requests and answer them while I paint my face and do this face of makeup. It might not look like it's that much, but trust me, it is a lot. I'm actually super excited to do this video with you, so keep on watching. But before I jump in, I have a word for our wonderful sponsor over at Catch Beauty. I have something super exciting to share with you. As a transgender woman, I used to struggle with so much unwanted body hair. Over the 10+ years of my transition, I have tried just about every single expensive and painful way to remove unwanted hair, and I figured there must be a better way. That is when I discovered Catch Beauty. This right here has been a complete game changer for me. I've been using Catch Beauty for a while now, and I cannot believe the results that I'm seeing. I mean, look at these before and after photos. Whoa. The best part is I get to do it from the comfort of my own home. No more awkward salon visits, no more painful treatments, just smooth skin on my terms. And girl, guess what? Catch Beauty now has this fantastic hair removal cream and growth inhibitor spray. The cream is so gentle, leaving my skin soft and hair free. And babe, the growth inhibitor spray, obsessed. I have noticed a big difference between the time that it takes for my hair to grow back. Catch Beauty is a transgender dedicated brand, and I had to share with all of you because it has made such a difference in my life. So if you're like me and you are tired of the endless cycle of hair removal, go to catchbeauty.com/discount/rose and use the code ROSE at checkout for money off your order. Thank you so much, Catch Beauty, for sponsoring this portion of today's video, and without further ado, let me share my transition advice. Hey! Okay, a couple housekeeping things. So first of all, I'm trying to figure out the lighting. I have 2 new studio lights. I broke my ring light, and honestly, it was time for some new ones. If you noticed in the last video, the lighting was kind of off, and I'm trying to figure it out. I think this is a little better. I have like natural lighting and overhead lighting and 2 studio lights, so hopefully it ends up looking good. Number 2, I am missing 2 nails. Let's not even talk about it. They're pinky nails. You can hardly notice. Number 3, I just got some Botox like a week ago, maybe a little over a week ago now, and so I'm not fully frozen yet, but I mean, much better. If you like see, I have like 0 lines right here. I'm super excited to see like how it goes a little smoother. I'm going to be releasing some content about that as well soon. I'm pretty much going to jump right in. This video is more about the Wizio requests more than the makeup. So if you want to see the products that I'm using, they're all down below. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments and I'll do my best to get back to you. So I'm not going to get to every single request, and I also apologize for just not getting to them period for the last like 3 years. I'm so sorry. I'm 23. I live in Michigan. I work at Chipotle, and I really want to get SRS. I thought about it for a long time, and I've seen your video about it and have been looking for the right surgeon for a bit now. And I noticed I need like 2 recommendation letters to go under surgery. I've never really spoken to a therapist about gender dysphoria. I was wondering if you had any recommendations on what I should do or any advice. Thank you. I mean, the first thing I would say to you is to get into therapy. I think everybody needs therapy, and you know, I've benefited from it so much, and as a trans person, it's very, very important that you have someone to talk to about your journey into womanhood, you know what I mean? Arguably even more important than that, places require letters from a psychiatrist. Sometimes the letters can be from a psychiatrist or a therapist, a primary care, an endocrinologist, or a combination of all of those things. So find out from whatever surgeon you're looking at what exactly they require. I would say number 1 is to just start therapy, because if you've already been living as your authentic self for a while. If you meet a therapist, they can meet you for just a little bit and be like, okay, well, obviously this person is a woman, and you know what I mean, and they'll be able to sign off on something. So I would say also, it seems like you've already done your research on requirements for surgery, but either contact directly your surgeon or look on their website to see what exactly they require. Look at what your insurance requires, because that's really what comes down to needing the letters. So make sure that your insurance, your surgeon, and your doctors all line up to be the perfect storm to allow yourself to get gender confirmation surgery. Our next request was for a phone call, but of course it is long since past when she requested this. Hello Victoria, this is redacted. I am a 24-year-old transgender woman who is newly transitioning. Right now I'm going through a lot of gender dysphoria and possibly even body dysphoria that I don't understand. I would like to talk about navigating and alleviating gender dysphoria and body dysphoria. This is something I want to discuss because there are too many times where I find myself uncomfortable because I'm doing something quote masculine unquote, and therefore my femininity and womanhood is not real. I know none of that is true. However, it's hard to know that sometimes even if you know the truth. I know I'm a woman. I just want to always know that even if I say or do something traditionally masculine. I have talked about gender dysphoria quite a bit on this channel, and in fact I actually have a gender dysphoria workbook. They sent their phone number and their email, so I will be emailing you a free copy of the Gender Euphoria workbook. For everybody else is in the description box down below. My best tips for dealing with dysphoria really are to make changes wherever you can. There's not always something that you can do physically, like whether it's surgical or just dressing differently or presenting differently. Like there's not always something that you can do that way, but you can change your environment. You can change the fabrics you're wearing, even if you have to wear male clothing. I think for me, something that really is affirming that could really be used for someone that is not out yet is scent. You know, there are so many androgynous scents out there. I know a lot of males who wear colognes that smell like something I would wear myself, like a perfume, and I know a lot of women that really love an androgynous, even like masculine perfume that is almost more of a cologne. Scent is something really fun where you can wear like an essential oil or something that's like a musk or something that's sort of in between, and that's something that you can smell yourself or other people smell on you, and it's feminizing, but it's also not female presenting. Hi Victoria, first off I want to start by saying I love your channel and I've been trying to learn from it. With that being said, I came out to my family's trans, MtF, and they are super supportive and encouraging, but now I am completely lost and don't know what to do next or what comes next in the process. Your advice would be so helpful. I want to start by saying that it's great that you have supportive families, supportive parents. A lot of people don't have that. I am lucky enough to have that, and I can say firsthand that I am just beyond blessed to have had my family support on, you know, just my whole life. As for the next step, honestly, if nothing else, take a note from, I think it was our first question. You should absolutely get a therapist. That is what I tell every single person when they first start transitioning and they're like, what do I do? First thing, if you do not already, get a therapist, because you are going to need a therapist's letter of, I guess, like release or whatever it is for insurance and your surgeon to allow you to get surgeries or sometimes even just start hormones. Once you have your therapist, I would say that the next course of action should be to reach out to either other trans folks that you know in your area or a local LGBTQ center, or both even, to find doctors in the area who specialize in trans treatment. Honestly, you could even do that before getting a therapist, because they could hook you up with somebody who is a trans specialist therapist. There are a lot of people out there who don't know what they're doing, so honestly it's important that you have someone that knows exactly what they are doing with trans healthcare, hormone replacement therapy, surgeries, everything, so that you don't, I don't know, end up on the wrong hormone levels or get botched or anything else, which all of which can be very, it can impede your transition and, more importantly, really affect your health. Meanwhile, while you are getting all of this information and resources, money, doctors, information, everything together, I think it's important to plan out who you want to be. This woman that you are becoming, this is a forever thing, you know what I mean? So down the line in 10, 20, 30, 40 plus years, who do you want to be? When we're growing up, we have a certain idea of who we're going to be, and that sort of helps to guide us. But when we transition, a lot changes. So think about who you want to be as a grown woman, who you want to be throughout your life, what you want to look back on as the woman that you are going to become. What do you want to do in your lifetime? How do you want to look? How do you want people to perceive you and to experience you? What job do you want? Do you want a family? Do you know, think about the long term and think about how you want your life to play out, because I cannot emphasize this enough. This is a forever thing, and I think people really need to think about the long term. Not to say that you're not, or not to say that other trans folks are not, but even for myself, I was really thinking of the short term, and I'm glad that I transitioned early enough to not be so affected by not thinking about the long term, because here I am today, 26, and I am a married woman. I'm thinking about starting a family, you know, down the line. But think about that. Think about the woman that you want to be down the line and how you can get there in the most safe and efficient way. I love your channel and I've learned so much. Sadly, I am 61 and just now transitioning after my recent divorce. I am a man who knows she's a woman. While you haven't been here where I am, you know lots of people, so I'll ask, what advice do you have for a nervous 61-year-old trans woman? How do I learn makeup and how do I learn to move like a woman? All these years of social programming have left me moving like a buffalo. Please be gentle. I'm finally able to be the person I am inside. Any advice or help would be much appreciated. Hello and welcome, fellow dolls. So I actually have met quite a few trans women who have transitioned later in life and have gone through a divorce as a result or as collateral of their transition. I'm sure that can't be easy, so I commend you on your bravery for living as your authentic self. First of all, again, like I've said to every other person, get into therapy. As far as learning how to do all of these female things, I'm not even being easy on you. I just genuinely believe that you have all the time in the world really to learn these things. There's no rush. I do understand the want and also, I mean, kind of the need to progress in your transition and learn these skills super fast. And to that, I would say best recommendation is look on YouTube. You know, I have spent so much time before I transitioned into like now and everything, looking on YouTube and watching makeup tutorials after makeup tutorial after makeup tutorial. I would say watch makeup tutorials from back in the day. Like watch like Michelle Phan, watch the old school ones into today. Like get a hold of each stage of makeup. You don't have to do each look, but like get to know how people have applied makeup throughout the years, how women have applied makeup throughout the years, because you would have been doing your hair and makeup throughout all those years as well. What I have found is you come across as, I mean, most cisgender when you have things from throughout the decades, because a lot of women have things in their closet for 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever years. So kind of learn about makeup throughout the last few decades and just keep on practicing. You know, I think the best way to practice makeup is right before a shower when you're not going out, so the pressure's not there. If you look like an absolute clown, guess what? You're about to wash it off anyway. It doesn't matter. And you can take a picture for yourself to look back on or show your friends and be like, oh my God, like I used to do this, is my first time doing it, or like my first couple times. So don't be afraid to mess up. You're not gonna learn anything if you don't try. Whether it's fashion or hair or makeup, your movement or anything else, don't be afraid to try. And as far as, speaking of which, the movement, I'm sure first of all you don't move like, what did you say, a hippo? A buffalo. I don't, that was funny, but I'm sure you don't move like a buffalo. I think my biggest recommendation is to film yourself, just for your own sake, but film yourself moving around and see how you look from an outside perspective, how other people see you, not just in a mirror, because in the mirror you might be holding yourself differently because you can see it in the moment. Film yourself for like, I don't know, 20 minutes while you walk around your house or clean, or while you're at your job, just like having a camera up and like filming yourself as you're doing stuff, and see how you hold yourself. And think about how women in your life hold themselves and how does that differ, or how does that have similarities. It comes down to practice for all of the above, for mannerisms, for movement, for hair, makeup, fashion, everything else comes down to practice and not being afraid to mess up. Okay, this is going to be the last Wizio request of the video. My name is Redacted, and I have realized within the last few months that I am now a 29-year-old woman of transgender experience, like someone I know. I am from the great state of New Jersey, so not too far from Rhode Island. I've been to Rhode Island many times, lovely state, especially Newport. Tomorrow I begin meeting with a gender therapist on the app Plume for the first time and possibly discussing HRT. I was hoping to hear from someone outside the medical profession about what to expect regarding HRT, as well as how to advocate for myself better regarding my goals in transition. I also wanted to ask about the practice you had do your gender confirmation surgery done at New Hope, Pennsylvania, since that is only 45 minutes from where I live. I live near Morristown, New Jersey. I also wanted to express my sincere appreciation for your videos, particularly makeup ones. Your makeup tutorials are fantastic, and the first time I started watching them, I learned quickly and was very shortly after getting compliments for how I looked, which made me beam with pride and affirmation. As for what you expect, the main thing I would say for the beginning stages is emotional. You're gonna have a lot of emotional changes. You're gonna have a lot of like mood swings. You're gonna feel a lot more like, emotional, period. Like, you might feel more inclined to cry. I know that sounds so like stereotypical, but I'm serious. Like, it's honestly kind of crazy. The mood swings are insane because it's sort of like you are a teenage girl, a preteen girl starting puberty, you know, and so you're starting to like go off the rails and like feel a little crazy. You can definitely expect to gain some weight. You can expect for your breasts to feel tender for the first 6 months to a year, maybe even 2 years. You can expect your skin softening, your hair growing, your facial hair maybe slowly thinning, but not that much. If you are balding at all, that will stop, as long as you don't have bald women as well in your family, in which case, good luck. But ultimately, when you start HRT, it's going to be emotional. How to advocate better for your goals in transition. I think that's a tricky one because really it comes down to your doctor and what they think is best. Ultimately, you have to listen to your doctor. You might, think that you're not on a high enough dose, but it comes down to the blood work. They have to look at the blood work and see where you are. And if you feel like you're on too low of a dose and their blood work isn't right, if you can go to another doctor to get a second opinion, that is absolutely valid. And you can do that no matter what. Like, it's not like, double crossing, you know what I mean? So absolutely, if you feel like you're being like misled by your doctor, you can totally seek a second opinion. But ultimately, definitely listen to your doctors, whether it's a plastic surgeon or what. If you feel like they are pushing you to do something you don't want to do, definitely trust your own gut and go again, seek a second opinion. For me, I think I can think of 2 different times on 2 different ends of the spectrum. Personally, one, I have had a plastic surgeon. I've talked about this in a top surgery story time. I had a surgeon that I went to for a consultation tell me that he was going to do 600 cc's over the muscle, and I have like 325 under the muscle, so you can only imagine the difference, really double the size. So I sought out a second opinion, but I've also had my endocrinologist prescribe me hormones and me be like, I'm on too low of a dose, and she's like, no, like your levels are, yes, low, but you're early on in your transition and we have to slowly introduce this into your system. And I didn't agree, but here I am now and I'm healthy and I'm happy, and so don't be too impatient, but don't be afraid to seek out a second opinion. And for the last part of your question about the New Hope, Pennsylvania, I went to Dr. Christine McGinn. She is phenomenal. I really couldn't answer any questions more than she and her team could. Definitely schedule a consultation if you can. It's like you said, it was like 45 minutes away. I highly recommend just checking it out. If nothing else, drive to the town, check out New Hope. There's nothing wrong with walking in and seeing the practice and introducing yourself, but I would say definitely schedule a consultation and talk to them because they will let you know everything that you need to know. Okay, so this is the finished look, and that is all of the questions that I'm going to do from Wizio today. Thank you to everyone who did submit questions. Again, my Wizio is now closed, and I appreciate you for all submitting them, but I will not be answering any more Wizio questions. This is just trying to clear out the queue. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Again, all products will be linked in the description down below, or at least listed in the description down below. I know I always say that, but for real, it actually will be. You are all amazing. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and until I see you next week, good luck. I love you. Bye.